Welcome to tacosandgeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing the narrative game Nobody Wants to Die. As always, I give you a brief synopsis. You can get this game on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. All the footage that you see here is recorded directly from my PlayStation 5 in performance mode. As always, here's a brief synopsis. Welcome to New York City 2329. Experience a noir adventure game in an alternate future of New York City in 2329. Technology has advanced to offer humans eternal life, allowing consciousness to be stored in memory banks or transferred from one body to another. That's it, if you can afford the subscription. Lead the investigation, see through the eyes of the Mortality Department Detective James Karra on his hunt for a serial killer who targets the city's elite citizens. Investigate crime scenes using his time manipulation, augmentation, and advanced technology to reconstruct events leading up to each murder and uncover clues that will lead to the horrifying truth behind these murders. And that is the synopsis. And I'm keeping this very vague when it comes to story. This was fantastic. This is going to be not only a sleeper hit, but I guarantee you most likely it will be a cult classic the more people pick up on this game. Just from a story standpoint, and just to be safe and be clear, I'm only showing you the opening footage of the actual game. From the first investigation, which doesn't really tell you much, to the opening scene. That's how much I want to keep this very vague when it comes to dialogue and everything else. But we do follow James Karra. And yes, while this is a game really deep in story as well, when it comes, because it questions the afterlife, it questions life and death. And in this particular world, in this universe, humans have been able to cheat death by putting their consciousness into other bodies, unless you have a particular description. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but I will say this, that this definitely is a character study, and it does a great job of really emulating that noir genre from the 1930s, 1940s. You see, even in the opening credits, you can see how James's wife Rachel is dressed over here. You see how the movie that they're watching is in black and white. It does a really great job emulating that. James is not by himself, by the way. He's with a partner named Sarah. Less I say about Sarah, the better, because, like I said, you need to go into this blind. What I will say thematically is it does a really great job exploring those themes of life and death, cheating death. What is death? What does it mean to be immortal, and morality, choices that you make? And speaking of choices, you do have to make choices in this game that will affect the path that it takes, that affect a little bit of the ending. But it does a really great job of a character study on James. James is alcoholic. He smokes. He's haunted by his past because James, well, you'll find out, James has been here a very long time. And things that he's done in his past lives are starting to haunt him that he hasn't really come to terms with. So they do a whole lot of not only just building this intensity of who this serial killer is, what's the serial killer's motives, some political aspects of how we're treating each other as humans, how we're treating death, how should we treat death, how should we view death. But not only that, we get a great character study on James, his partner Sarah. Story is going to be a classic, sleeper hit for sure. Definitely enjoyed it. But you're probably wondering, this is a narrative game, Justin. How does it play? Well, let's talk a little bit first about the graphics, and then we'll get into a little bit of the gameplay. Graphics, gorgeous. Like I said, I played this on the PlayStation performance mode. Game looks really spectacular, really great lighting. It really captures that cyberpunk aesthetics, and it does a really good job. I will say, very cinematic, especially in certain shots. Very cinematic when it comes to cinematography, which you don't really expect people to talk about in a video game. But the way they did their shots, the way they position, especially in the opening shot, which I'll show you later on, the opening shot of how we get to see Times Square in New York. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I really love the lighting in this, especially this parts where you have to use your flashlight. It makes you really feel like a detective. And speaking of that, as I alluded to in the synopsis, there is going to be a lot of investigation here. James is armed with a whole bunch of good tools here. You have the tool where he can time manipulate, where he's able to kind of figure out to piece together what happened. For those who played Arkham Origins, it's similar to that where Batman was doing an investigation when he just kind of uses a hologram to kind of piece together what's going on. You have the UV light to trace blood, as you see here. You have X-rays to trace down certain things as well. And then you have the reconnect, which I talked about before, where you're able to time manipulate and see where you're going. So you have reconstruction, UV ray, you have a flashlight, and you have X-rays, and they all come into play in very different times. And I really did enjoy it. Like the investigation part is where you're gonna have the most fun because you are James, you are a detective, you are trying to piece together what's happening. And it takes a while because certain things. I mean, there is for those who get stuck. All you have to do if you're on a PlayStation, you press square. They give you a little hint on where the next place you have to go to, so you're not going to be entirely stuck. For me, I tried to not use that to figure out where I had to analyze. I like to search. I want to feel like I'm a detective, so I want to search. I want to see where all this goes into play. And there's also, once you're done with your investigation, that doesn't mean you're done. There's also an evidence board. I didn't show that particularly because I don't want to give away where clues are at. But there's an evidence board that you do either at Sarah's location or at James's house, where you put together and try to piece together all the clues that you found to try to come up with a conclusion. Now, remember earlier I was talking about the shots of the city and how gorgeous this looks and captures the cyberpunk feel? This is exactly what I was talking about. Look how great this looks. It reminds me of Blade Runner, especially when it comes to the influence. But let's talk a little bit about music and sound. Gameplay and graphics is solid. So here's some samples of music.
It's time to take care of it. I'm gonna need more space to fire up the evidence board.
About that. Well, let me look it up. Yep, it's supposed to be in a few days.
He'll have to get back on his feet pretty damn fast then.
Okay, Green, Edward. Oh, shit.
Sarah? You okay?
Shit. Oh, I'm reading up on Green. Holy fuck, you know who this guy is?
Relax. This will be a routine job.
Routine my ass.
The music in this game definitely captures that noir 1930s, 1940s aesthetic, that feel. I mean, telling you, if it wasn't for the music, I would like, man, this doesn't really feel like a noir, but this definitely hits it home. Home run hit from when it comes to the music here. So voice acting is awesome, especially Sarah's performance, especially James' performance. This narrative game would not be as strong if it didn't have great actors to really embody these characters, so you can really feel the emotions. Can you really feel that tense, that drama, that characterization? All that really hams up in this one, and it does a great job of not only just keeping voice wise to kind of how someone might sound in that particular time period, especially with James. You can tell James's voice is definitely a love letter to that noir feel that we used to get back in the days. Sarah's performance is so strong, very witty, but can also be a tough cookie when the time comes. Really love the performances in this. Really love the sound in this. I thought they did a really great job of hammering all of that home, and I definitely can't stress enough. Great experience overall. Now for my final thoughts. Nobody Wants to Die is a stellar narrative adventure game that makes you truly feel like a detective. Great story with twists and turns, amazing graphics, great soundtrack. Hands down, I will definitely put this as one of the stories of the year so far. I will probably hold off on putting it as the game of the year category because the year's not over, but it's in, I would say definitely should be in the conversation just because of how great they were able to really capture this detective noir cyberpunk feel with some really stellar performances, twists and turns, graphics. Didn't have no issues with frame rate. The game is gorgeous. Voice acting was wonderful. Stories are really good. Choices have to be made. You're gonna start questioning your character's morality. Choices that you might want to know which side are you choosing. It is an experience. It's going to be a sleeper hit, cult classic, definitely. I highly recommend you pick up Nobody Wants to Die. I believe the price. I got it for free. Well, I didn't get it for free, but I only spent $5 because I got the I used my PlayStation rewards points. Highly recommend you guys start doing that if you have a PlayStation Plus. Definitely start using the reward points because those things really the PlayStation Stars program really works. So definitely giving this an A+. This is Justin from TacosGeeks.com saying later days. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Tacos and Geeks, browse our website, and see you later. Thank you for all your support. Peace.